At this point, I feel like a broken record because we lost another game. But even in this game, we lost more than just the game. So now we got a whole bunch of questions, and are major changes on the way? Come on in here. Let's talk about it after the intro. Hey, welcome back to From the Cheap Seats. I'm your host, Bonafide. And yeah, we took a monumental loss to the Ravens yesterday morning at the London International game. And it's crazy to me that monumental is the right word to use for this one. So let's just jump right into it, talk about the game recap. Like I mentioned in the previous video, in the preview video, the defense was going to do all right, but if we didn't have any offense to score any points, we weren't going to do anything. But guess what? I was right. Don't call me Nostradamus. But outside of Derrick Henry and the foot of Nick Folk, we couldn't score any points. Now, we had an opportunity. Nick Westbrook-Akina would have been a touchdown pass. He dropped that, and that felt like the only pass or only attempt in the red zone, even though we were down there a lot more. Tajay almost got in the red zone, almost got in the end zone on that long pass screen that he took from Willis all the way down. I think he went for like 48 yards. And then we got to the 1 yard line and we couldn't punch it in. And I'm watching Derrick Henry on the sidelines for that play, which was super dumb. That was like one of the a number of dumb plays that happened in that game, but this one was really stupid because that's where he makes his money, on the 1 yard line. Now you got everybody moaning about Willis and that crazy design quarterback run where he didn't go out of bounds. Yeah, but if you put Derrick Henry in the game and you allow him to do the work, you don't have that problem. So whatever. And then at the beginning of the game, it seemed like, at least when I was watching the thing, the offensive line seemed like it was holding up fairly decent, but just Tannehill wouldn't pull the trigger. Or he was just missing throws. He was just missing throws. I mean, he passed for like 76 yards and he had an interception, but some of the yardage or somehow some of the ways that we moved down the field was pass interference calls on DeAndre Hopkins. At least there were at least two of them that gave us good field position because they're spot fouls. So yeah, but other than that, that's all we got from the quarterback. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson was out there, going 21 of 30, and he threw for 223, and he had a touchdown. He had an interception, but he had like 60 yards on the ground, and he threw it to 8 different receivers. 8 different players on the Ravens caught a pass from Lamar Jackson. That can tell you pretty much how the game went. Now, the defense wasn't that bad. They may have passed it to 8 different people. Yeah, you may have gotten, the touchdown, but they got an interception. They got to Lamar Jackson one time, but they kept him contained. He didn't have this explosive running exposition, except for on that touchdown when he just absolutely broke the ankles of Jack Gibbons. It was nasty. I don't even want to show you that because I may have to put censor on that because he just absolutely broke that man down. But anyway, the defense was decent. And even in special teams, part of special team, we blocked a field goal from Justin Tucker, which is something that, really doesn't happen. But, so I'm not even going to really put this on the defense. What really killed us in this game was the muffed punt and that interception from Tannehill. Those were back breakers. I'm telling you, that muffed punt, right? I'm going to just be real with you. I never want to see Kyle Phillips back there returning punts again. Never. And he returned 2 more punts in that game, but I never want to see him back there returning punts. He is not good at this job. I'm sorry. He has PTSD. He has whatever. He gets the heebie-jeebies. I don't want him back there. Hopefully, Kearis Jackson is coming back during the bye week and he can, resume his job as the punt return. But I don't want to see Kyle Phillips back there because that all he has to do is not field the punt. Just let it go. It's almost, just let it go. Meanwhile, he muffs it, And now they give them great field position and they get able to kick another field goal and they go up 18-3 instead of us coming back out in the halftime down only 15-3. Much more manageable. Yeah. And when you be like, well, it's just a field goal. Yeah, but when you look at our offense, we can't score. So we need all the advantages that we can get. Advantages? Yeah. We need all the advantages we can get. And them not having 18 points is an advantage for us. So that was a backbreaker. And then the interception. I feel like, we had just scored with Derrick Henry. They had punted, we had punted. I feel like on that drive, had we just given the ball to Derrick Henry a little bit more, we could have did something. But nope, we threw a pick. They ended up getting another field goal, basically, and that was it. We were out of the game after that particular point. So, and you know what? The interception happened because Tannehill said after post-game presser that he couldn't push off the injured foot, so they lofted the ball up, and he tried to gut it out. But really and truly, when you go back and look at that play, he should have never thrown that ball. That ball was, there were two people on Chigakonkwo out there, two of them. And the ball, his arm is cooked. So he didn't have enough strength to get the ball out there. And what happened? Basically, it was a gimme. It was a gimme pick on that one. So those were backbreakers. Now, we know he couldn't, I always want to, that's not the way quarterbacks work. They want to gut it out. They want to, be the tough guy, Steve McNair and, things like that come to position. But yeah, whatever. It's just a microcosm of our offense right now. So we're going to go to it. Player of the game. Player of the game is Derrick Henry, full stop. I don't want to hear any arguing right there. He scored the only points for us that didn't come from Nick Folk. I mean, you could give this to Nick Folk, but I'm going to give it to Derrick Henry because he had a massive run off the King Cat. Basically, all of the rushing yards he got, 64-yard, I think was off the King Cat. Like, what's going to happen. He's not throwing the ball, and he still got 64 yards. So, yeah, he's the player. Now, this is interesting. Chris Johnson, who was at the game in London, posts this little tracker every game. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, it does start to hold some type of weight. Some people say, oh, that doesn't really matter, things like that. But in the games that Derrick Henry doesn't get 25 carries, and I won't even say 25, it's just 20. The games that he doesn't get 20 carries, we lose. I put it up right here. You can see right here. He got 12 carries this game. 12 carries. And guess what? We lost. Maybe if we would have given him 3 or 4 more carries on the 1-yard line, let him punch in another one, maybe it's a different story. Maybe we're talking about something totally different. But yeah, whatever. So we normally would do Bonafide banner and Bonafide rants, but right now we're going to just change it up a little bit. We're going to talk about this. In 1996, Bone Thugs and Harmony came out with this song called The Crossroads. Now, I don't know the lyrics, and I usually babble through them when I hear it come on, but this is probably an appropriate song for the Tennessee Titans season right now. We at a crossroads. I mean, just look at it. We got Big Jeff, and I'm gonna put it up here. We got Big Jeff saying that we got players not giving full effort and players that don't know if they want to play for the Tennessee Titans anymore.
Figure something out. We need to figure out the guys who, gonna fight. We need to figure out the guys who want to be out there, not the guys that don't want to be out there. That's what it needs to be. We need to reevaluate our team and, figure it out. That's the message. Let's figure it out who want to play football for the Titans.
We got multiple benching of starters. Dillard and Fulton were, benched yesterday. Fulton came back in the game. I don't know why. Something may have happened to Trey Avery or whatever, but he was benched, and so was Andre Dillard for MPF. The QB play is below par, and I mean, it's bad. And now that the best option to win games, Ryan Tannehill, left Hotspur Stadium on crutches, and we threw Malik Willis to the proverbial wolves again. So we got that problem. You can really just see it all over Mike Vrabel's face. I mean, during the game and during the pressers, I was reading Zach Lyons from Stacking the Inbox's latest article, and which you should check it out. And I'm gonna link it down here below. But yeah, he looked defeated, and I get it. It was just like, I was upset, I was angry, but it's just, man, what can you do right now? We're basically at a crossroads. We are at the bye week right now. So we're on the bye week. So it's going to be roughly about 2 weeks before we play again. And I don't know if Tannehill is going to IR or not. We have a presser later on today from Mike Vrabel. He may tell us what's going on. I know that Tannehill was supposed to have an MRI when he came back to the States. So, we got that. So now we got Willis versus Levis. You know, I thought we weren't going to get that till next year, but now here we are. We got the Falcons coming up at home, and it looks like it could be a winnable game. I watched part of their game since I was able to watch Red Zone yesterday, which Red Zone is by far the greatest invention since the microwave or sliced bread or whatever, the wheel. But Red Zone, when you get a chance to watch it, which I will be watching it this weekend, it's great. But yeah, they watch that. I mean, it's a winnable game if you can score points, and that's something that we really can't do. So right now, I'm going to tell you how Bonafide feels. I am in the give Malik Willis one last shot at this QB1 thing. Yeah, and before you start throwing your tomatoes or booing or going in the comments or things like that, I have some reasoning behind that. In spite of what you might think of him, and in spite of his skill set and how, whatever, last year was just not conducive to the success of anybody that was going to be down there. And I've always stood on the fact that he should be given a legit shot. Now, I thought that legit shot would come next year because we knew Tannehill wouldn't be here just because of cap numbers. It would be Willis versus Levis in the playoff, in the preseason, and we would see what we would get from there. And that's now been fast forwarded to this year. So he should be given a legit shot and not thrown into the game when it's already out of hand, like it was yesterday, or when we're basically missing the entire offense, like last season. I think like this. If Malik was as bad as you see on social media or Twitter and things like that, if he was as bad as they say he is, then I would think that he would be gone already. He would be traded, or they would have released him. And don't say it can't happen or they're not going to do it because of where they drafted him, because Chase Claypool got traded to the Dolphins and they gave up picks for him. So everybody in the NFL, if you're playing in the NFL, has value. So you can be traded anyway. But that isn't the case. He won the backup starting job. We watched him win that job. He showed improvement over the offseason. It may not have been the one that we wanted to see, or may not have been as grand as we wanted to, but obviously people in the building thought it was good enough to say, hey, Malik Willis is QB2. Now, some of that can be attributed to Levis was injured, after the Bears game, and we really never got another shot to see him in the preseason. Yeah, I get that, but hey, Malik earned it. He earned the spot. So now, hence the song choice at the beginning from Bone Thugs, we are at a massive crossroads. Especially given that I think that Sunday was the last time that you are ever going to see Ryan Tannehill take a snap under center for the Titans. And I say that because of the following. 17, unless something changes, unless the injury wasn't as bad as it was, unless he can get back in 2 weeks and be the starter in front of the Falcons, he's probably going to go on IR for at least 4 games. Now, by the time he's back, we're going to have like 1 or 2 scenarios presented to us, things like that. Either one, Willis shocks us all and wins at least 3 or 4 of those games, which, even me being honest with myself, is probably a long shot. We play Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville. And if he was able to come out with, I would even say if he was able to come out with 1, 2, maybe 3 wins out of those games, then if we get 3 wins out of there, we're looking at what? Let's try to do the math here. We're looking at 5-4. We're looking at being at 5-4 and probably still in the playoff. And then if that's the case, then we've already changed the offense enough to match Willis. He's obviously showing us some good things, maybe still some bad things, but good enough to where we can rock out with him for the rest of the season. And Tannehill can be that QB2, come back in if something happens. That's one scenario. The other scenario is Willis loses all of those games, or maybe 1 or 2 of those games, which is probably more than likely going to happen. And then we just turn it over to Levis to see what we have with Levis for the rest of the season. So then for that fact, whether or not in the draft, we need to be trading up or trading back or trading in to get a quarterback prospect, or we're going to be rocking with Levis next year as QB1 and maybe pulling the veteran back up to back him up. Willis may be traded or whatever for picks. But those are the 2 scenarios. So that's why I think you're probably not going to see Tannehill come back, even if he is healthy. Unless he's healthy right now and can come back and be ready for Falcons game, I think he's going on IR. Things like that. So weirder things have happened. But those are my thoughts. That's where I'm thinking it is. You know, drop in the comments who you think is going to start on the Falcons game. We probably won't know until the week of the Falcons game, but drop it in the comments. So as I wrap this up, we're not going to have a From the Cheap Seats this week because we're on a bye week, but we are going to be dropping content on some of the topics that we touched on earlier in the week. You know, we're going to talk about Burks, we're going to talk about Phillips, we're going to talk about some of the older players that we have. With the trade deadline coming up, you know, we could see a flurry of move. There's been rumors about us being sellers at the trade deadline, so it may be interesting to see that. So we're going to definitely touch on some of those topics around that week. So make sure you stay tuned for all the new videos that are coming. And don't forget, once we hit 500 subscribers, we're getting really close. I think we're like 463. That will kick off our 1K jersey giveaway. And the only thing you have to do to enter to be in the jersey giveaway is be a subscriber of the channel. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and then share this with your fellow Titans fans, because there's plenty of room in the section for everyone. All right. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video. But until then, tighten up.